Hello, this is Oscar and welcome to Hash Life, a podcast for all blockchain lovers, bringing you the best experts in Latin America. Right now we are broadcasting from Medellin, Colombia with Berkeley as usual, and we have the pleasure to welcome Juri Maibaum. So Juri has been in the crypto space since 2019. He's the co-founder of Frens Validator and the Cosmoverse annual event, which we're really looking forward to since this year it's happening in Medellin. So welcome, Juri. How are you feeling in Medellin?
Yeah, thank you for having me today. Medellin is always great to be back. So I've been here last year for the very first time, end of 2021. And since then I can't get enough of the city. And it amazes me every single time I'm here, I see something new, fascinating facts about Medellin. So yeah, very cool to be here again.
Nice, well, you're always welcome. Tell us, Juri, tell us a bit about your story. How did you get into blockchain? What were you doing? What's your background, let's say? And what is all this, everything like Frens Validator, this Cosmoverse conference?
Yeah, so I think there is a lot to unpack here, but I talked to Berkeley just before the interview about it. So first of all, to be very honest, I got into crypto because of greed. I was 18 years old, I had 2,000 euros to invest. So if you want to, go up quickly. So crypto was the most attractive market for me. Mm-hmm. And then I got in the deepest bear market, and I started to look at Ethereum and stuff like this. And then after graduating high school, I've been to Africa, to 10 different countries all over Africa. And this was also when DeFi was about to emerge. And I kind of combined this, I saw DeFi and I saw the potential market for DeFi, especially in Africa, because all these people there, most of them, they do not have access to any financial service. Mm-hmm. So this is what really pushed me over the cliff to say, okay, that's actually what I'm here for. And then Corona came, then, you saw the headlines, $8 trillion printed within one day. Then I started to learn more about the Austrian School of Economics. And this is really where I got into crypto. And then it was in the middle of COVID. So, there weren't many opportunities. So I said with my best friend, hey, let's just launch a newsletter and see what happens. So we just wrote one newsletter, launched a Twitter account, wrote about DeFi in general. So this was my first small, very media company called DeFi Times. And because of DeFi Times, we ended up in Portugal. So we moved to Portugal and we did a lot of things in crypto. We launched a YouTube channel, and then all of a sudden we organized Cosmoverse, the biggest Cosmos conference in the world. And then, we also finally launched Frens Validator, which is a validator company that is focused in the Cosmos ecosystem. So we have a bunch of validators in different Cosmos ecosystems, such as on the Cosmos Hub, Osmosis, SwiftChain, Comdex, Juno, etc. So yeah, this is what we do. In the meantime, I also studied law for one semester. I'm very proud of that, but I quit very quickly because crypto is too time consuming.
Okay, love it. So you came for the speculation and you stayed for the revolution.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So before we move on and talk about some of the different projects you're working on, I on your Twitter profile I saw born after 1971. I think a lot of our listeners will know what that means, but would you mind just elaborating a little bit what that phrase means?
Sure.
Why it's important?
Yeah, sure. So I mentioned it during COVID. I was learning a lot about the School of Austrian Economics. So in 1971, this was the year where the US abolished the gold standard, and since that day, the anchor currency of the world, which is still the US dollar, and back then it was also the US dollar, was not backed by gold anymore. So it was we kind of have an institution which is the Federal Reserve Bank, and now they have basically the power to say how much money will be printed, and to which time, and they have basically a huge power in their hand. But also since that day, the gap between rich and poor increased significantly because people who already had money or big assets like real estate, stocks, etc., they became even richer over the over the next years because basically the money was not like backed by real value anymore. So they kind of had, like a big advantage in contrast to people who basically started their life. So people who just began to, save money and things like this, they had a huge disadvantage because the money got devalued while all the asset classes increased significantly. And this is like, and if you like look at all the different problems that we have in the world so far, I think like the inequality in general is like not the consequence of many problems, but basically the first major root for that, like the ground laying problem for many problems that we have in the world right now. So this is basically also why we are in crypto, and this is also what the crypto industry is all about. And this is why it's in my Twitter profile.
Okay, so I see you're a lot into the themes of how money works, etc. So DeFi Times, that was a newsletter that was speaking mainly about that. Why should we decentralize finance? Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, nice. And how did you go from DeFi Times and Cosmos? What did you find into Cosmos? Because I mean, so you don't work like officially inside like as a Cosmos developer or whatever, but you are the co-founder of the biggest Cosmos events annually.
Yes.
So what attracted you to this blockchain? And tell us more about what you think about Cosmos and what's your role in it.
So I think, big shout out to my friend Crypto C2 here, Mike. We met Mike in the very first place. It was also around this time, DeFi Summer 2020, and it was the only German that I knew who was like actively in blockchain. So we hit him up on Twitter, and then we talked a lot, and then we recorded some videos, and he basically drove my attention to the Cosmos ecosystem. And I'm a fan of a prosperous crypto industry, and Cosmos is all about that. So Cosmos is not like Avalanche or Ethereum or Near, where you have one blockchain and all the applications built on top of it. It's more like it's the internet of blockchains, because Cosmos established a communication standard called IBC, which is short for Inter-Blockchain Communication Standard, and it helps blockchains to communicate with each other. So every blockchain, so for example, Near could enable IBC, and then it would be able to communicate with all the blockchains that also enabled IBC. So you can like seamlessly bridge tokens from one blockchain to another without relying on a bridge or a centralized exchange, which is like massive for DeFi generally, and also for the adoption rate of DeFi. So this is what really grabbed my attention, because it's like Cosmos is not a zero-sum game at all. It says it's like more or less like a DeFi ETF, because you say, okay, Cosmos doesn't care about whether Solana will succeed, whether Ethereum will succeed. They don't care about this. They say, guys, figure it out on your own. We are just, enabling basically the English language. So if you are like in an airport today, you can rely that most airports in the world, international airports, will speak English. We have this one standard where we say, okay, this is how we can communicate in the world. And this is what Cosmos is all about. This is how we came into Cosmos. And I mentioned it before. We live in Lisbon, and in September, October, we had the Lisbon Blockchain Weeks. So there was Solana Breakdown, East Lisbon, LisCon, Ethereum Conference, the Near Conference. And then we said we really need a Cosmos conference. So within 6 weeks, we just kickstarted our conference. We said, okay, let's rent a hotel. And it was like super spontaneous. But the demand for it was so crazy, and this is how it started basically. And then now we will expand to Medellin, and very excited for this one as well.
How did the Cosmos team reacted to this first Cosmoverse event?
Oh, they were like super happy about it, because Cosmos is a very complex ecosystem and like very big, because they're like, it's not like Ethereum where you have the Ethereum Foundation, that's it. No, in Cosmos you have Ignite, formerly known as Tendermint, you have the Interchain Foundation, but like most of the liquidity was like focused on Osmosis, which is like an AMM chain. So as you can see, it's like not very tangible for like people who are new to the space. It's like, what is all of this? And then there was Terra using the Cosmos SDK. So technically it was a Cosmos project as well, but it was like much bigger than the Cosmos hub. So it was like the huge challenge was to basically bring everything into perspective and all the people into one room. And this is what we achieved. We helped that people came into one room, and this was why many people were super happy about this. So for example, Quicksilver, which will be the very, very first project that will leverage interchain security, which is like an update that will take place in the Cosmos Hub within this year. They will be like the first project to basically leverage interchain security, and they got founded at Cosmoverse. So the founders, they worked for Course One, like a validator company, and at Cosmoverse they realized, we want to start building again. And yeah, then they kickstarted Quicksilver, like a big project nowadays in Cosmos. They kickstarted it at Cosmoverse. So this is why like the people really appreciated it. Like finally we brought everybody into one room to kickstart new developments, and like Quicksilver is like a very good example for that. So yeah, they were very happy about that.
Amazing.
Perfect. Is there, I mean, I guess just a little bit about, are there any competitors to Cosmos? And do you, are you like only into Cosmos in terms of those competitors? Are there other ones you like, or what are some of the benefits?
You're speaking of layer ones, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
To Cosmos.
Yeah, I mean, like, so personally, I'm also like a lot into Ethereum. Like not because like Ethereum basically brought me really into it. I mean, like Bitcoin is kind of boring. Of course, Bitcoin also initially brought me in, but like you can't follow like progresses on Bitcoin. So yeah, like I'm also like in Ethereum and then Cosmos. But yeah, that's it. But personally, I would say that there are not many competitors compared to Cosmos. You could argue that, for example, Polkadot is one, but in my view, it isn't, because if you, like, Polkadot has this concept with a relay chain and with many parachains, but the spots for parachains is limited. But in Cosmos, you do not have like limited space. You just have a developer toolkit, which is called the Cosmos SDK. And if you have like the technical knowledge for it, you can just go ahead and build with the Cosmos SDK. It's open source, you can just kickstart it. But in Polkadot, that's not possible. You need to be like one of the few parachains. And besides, you need a huge amount of money, because you needed to participate in the parachain auctions, which took place in 2021. And like all the projects, they were like funded very, very well. So we talk about millions and millions and millions of dollars. So Cosmos is actually really like very unique regarding that. You don't have something like this right now in the crypto industry. So Cosmos is like so beautiful because you can also bring all the people from all over the space into one room, because it's not a zero-sum game.
Okay. Well, while you're talking about bringing all the people into one room, do you want to tell us a little bit more about the Cryptoverse Medellin event in September, and what you have planned and how you're involved?
Cosmos and Medellin, like I'm very, very excited for it. Maybe I can start talking about like why we chose Medellin in the first place. So, I mean, we had discussions, but we made this decision very, very quickly. Actually during Cosmoverse, we made the decision to host it in Medellin. So what you have to know is like that CryptoCito used to live in Medellin for like 2 years or so. And he always said, Medellin, best place ever. So he was like about to shill me into Medellin. I was like, I really want to check out this place. But then we also had discussion, where does it make sense to host a conference? And we said we want to go to South America. First of all, because like most South American currencies, such as the Colombian peso are like highly inflationary. So the demand for cryptocurrencies or like decentralized money in general is very big. So, and this is the reason why we said we want to go to South America. And then we like kind of analyzed the market in Colombia, and we saw that there are a lot of developer academies in Medellin. And also DevCon was about to take place in Bogota in October, like very close to our conference. So we said, Colombia is the best place to host the conference. So yeah, we chose then Medellin because like DevCon will host it in Bogota, but Bogota is like a massive city, like super large. Medellin is more, like fits more to this Cosmos vibe, to, the relaxed vibe, you can go to Bogota with like, 40 million people. We will stay in Medellin, we'll hang out in Poblado, that's like our vibe. So this is why we chose Medellin then in general. And also because you also won this FinTech award, which was also very interesting. So yeah, these were the reasons.
Okay. So that's your second edition after Lisbon, right? Mm-hmm. So what are the major improvements? What have you learned in the first event you've done for Cosmos? And what can we expect from this one?
Like the first answer to the question is actually very boring, but taxes. When we started Cosmoverse in the beginning, we didn't think about taxes because our first plan was just to host like a small meetup with like 100 people, and then it became bigger and bigger, and we had so many different construction sites here and there, and we were worried about 200 different things. But then we forget, wait, if we expand this conference to like 750 people and we sell tickets in a foreign country, then we have to pay taxes actually. So this is what really, wrecked us, because we actually lost money with Cosmoverse, with the first company, because we didn't raise VAT. So this was like the first big lesson learned. But fun fact, due to a governance proposal on Cosmos Hub, on Osmosis, the community bailed us actually out.
Amazing.
So
Oh wow.
They gave us a lot of Osmo, and this is how we didn't lose money. So big shout out to Osmosis at this point. So this is like the first major thing. But the other thing is now we have more time. So with more time, we have like more, room to plan. We will do many more cool things. We will say that we have. So what our plan is that we will have like a full week just of Cosmos events, all over Medellin. Last year we just had the conference, the after party, pre-dinner. That's it. But this year we will have it like much bigger, many more events. We will have 3 days. We will have like double the amount of attendees, most likely.
How many does that mean? How many people are you expecting?
So we can host up to 1,500 people.
Amazing.
I think it also depends on the current market situation. So I think I calculate with 1,000, 1,200, but if we like kind of get to into the exciting mood again, 1,500 wouldn't be a problem as well. And we also have like a couple of tech workshops. So if you're a developer, please feel free to join the Cosmos conference, because we kind of also have bounties, and it's kind of a small hackathon. So that's also what we will have. So we will have like not only one stage, but 2 stages, or 3 actually. So everything is like 2x of everything, so much bigger.
We can try to include a link to buy tickets.
Yeah, sure, as soon as they are.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool, amazing. So what are the plans after that? After Cosmoverse Medellin, you're really in the beginning phase still, second edition. What is your vision with Cosmoverse, and your project in general? What is your vision for your future?
Yeah, I mean, we want to. Now we will have like 1,500 people, most likely. So by 2023, for the third episode of Cosmoverse, more or less, we want to have like even more people. So we want to. Our primary goal is to onboard as many people into the Cosmos ecosystem as possible. We also want to create as much value as possible for the broader Cosmos ecosystem. So we want to host more workshops. We want to get more developers into Cosmos. We want to drive the attention of VCs and funds to Cosmos. Because fun fact, like in Lisbon, we had a lot of like East friends at Cosmoverse. And I told them, hey, come to Cosmos. And they said, oh, I heard cool things about Cosmos, but I actually don't know what it is. And like people who really like work for very well-known Ethereum projects, they were like, oh, actually now we are thinking about to launch on Juno or on FMOS or whatever, because they just didn't know about it. So this is exactly what we want to achieve with it. We just want to make it bigger and by the end of the decade, we really want to host like one Cosmoverse conference year by year in a different continent. And we also want to incentivize people to host Cosmoverse side events, meetups, etc., all around the globe. We want to help them finance these approaches. So this is the big goal of Cosmoverse, I would say.
Awesome. It sounds like a big plan. How can people help? Let's say if people want to join maybe as a speaker. I don't know if you have all the speakers, or how can people join? Let's say Cosmoverse. Like we'll put a link for the tickets. But if someone wants to get more involved, what can he do? What page can we follow? And also, what are your, let's say, your personal social pages, etc. To have a bit of following of what we can.
Sure. So I would recommend to check out our website, cosmoverse.org first. So from there, you will be able to send us an email. You can see our Twitter profile. So then you can check out our Twitter profile. You can send us a DM if you have like any ideas, or if you want to propose a speaker to speak, if you want to sponsor, that's also possible. So I think like the website is a very good way to start. And if you want to follow me or like my projects, of course I mentioned Cosmoverse, the Twitter profile, but you can also follow my profile, which is Juri Maibaum, or Frens Validator, which is my other Cosmos focused project.
Awesome. To finish, can you repeat us the dates of Cosmoverse?
Sure. The 26th, the 27th, and the 28th of September 2022, Medellin, Colombia.
26th, 27th, 28th of September, Medellin, Colombia, second edition of Cosmoverse. Perfect. Well, thanks a lot. Maybe what would be, let's say, one advice you could give to someone starting in the blockchain world? Or crypto, whatever. Like, what is the main experience you learned from your 3 years now in the blockchain?
Yeah, that's actually a very tricky question, to be honest. It's like so basic, but it's like very tricky if you think about this. So if I'm like super new, I would start to think about what good money is, because like still, if you see the greed in the space and you know those pump and dump tokens. So people start with Bitcoin, but as soon as it's about greed and shitcoins, they forget about all the rules that they learned previously.
I was actually thinking we should at some point do an episode with like common scams or things to look out for, etc. Yeah.
So I would actually that's the first step. Learn what good money is. And as soon as you understand that, then it's easy to understand good and bad tokenomics. So yeah, I would highly recommend to, maybe learn a little bit about the Austrian School of Economics. I think that's actually a very good way to start. And also, of course, check out Cosmos. It's a very cool ecosystem, very involving, very young. So even if you just get started, there are a lot of opportunities around the corner.
So a lot of times as we end, Oscar asks that question, and then I've been asking. Telling first that the first block of the Bitcoin blockchain has a message embedded on it saying that the German chancellor, is doing a second round of bailouts for banks, and that's sort of like the part of the genesis of where Bitcoin comes from and the reason it was created. If you could embed some sort of a message for the world on a blockchain, do you have any ideas of what that might be?
Again, very basic but complicated to answer question. Now with the retrospect, what happened throughout the years, I would say I would embed the future as multi-chain, just to basically make all the Bitcoin and East Maxis know that the future is diverse and prosperous, and this is the reason why crypto will succeed over the next years.
The future is multi-chain.
Kind of like a no crypto civil wars sort of a message.
To prevent everything, yeah. Be peaceful, guys. Let's do better than traditional finance.
Okay.
More or less.
Perfect.
Amazing. Well, thanks a lot, Juri. If you like this episode, we're going to do one weekly. So feel free to follow #Live podcast, follow Cosmoverse. It's coming. It's going to be big. We must do an episode, like a follow-up during the Cosmoverse or after the Cosmoverse. And yeah, thanks a lot. And yeah, see you on the next episode.
See you soon.
See you soon, guys.